Welcome to Oddball History, dipshits.
Boom, 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 boom.
How.
Always got to start with ZZ
Hey,
Top.
yeah. We do. Shout out ZZ Top.
Shout out Billy Gibbons, Mike Beard, may you rest in peace. But today on Oddball History with the start
And
of
Dusty Hill.
Dusty Hill.
Let's not
There we
forget
go.
Dusty Hill.
Always the fun
cousin
fact.
of Hank Hill. They did an episode about it. You ever see that one? That was good.
I didn't know that was funny.
Go check out The King of the Hill
Yeah.
with Dusty Hill from ZZ Top.
Fun fact, most people probably know, Mike Beard, the only member of ZZ Top without a beard.
Yeah, how about that? The guy in ZZ Top without a beard, his last name is Beard.
Who'd
Like
thunk
a
it?
minute in, and we just blew your fucking minds.
Turn the podcast off now. We're done.
Yeah, we're mic drop. I won't drop them because Jimmy bought these, and that would be very rude.
Yeah.
But
Oh, real quick
I could.
shout out. We got Jogging Scissors 632 on YouTube. He's our number one
Shout
fan
out.
in South Korea.
hell yeah.
So-
what's that? What is it? Jogging Scissors
632.
632. Shout out. Yeah.
Shout
hell
out.
yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Keeping it real in Korea.
Yep. The good one, not the North one.
That's right.
No offense to anyone
The
listening in
one
North
with the
Korea.
great baseball. I got very into their baseball during the pandemic. I've told a lot of people this. When I was fiending for sports, I
Yeah.
stay up late anyway, so they started showing live Korean baseball
Yeah.
at like 2 a.m. on ESPN. I got
God.
way into it.
I got into sports gambling briefly.
That's a good thing to get into.
I had a bookie. I had a friend connect me with a bookie, even though it's like legal on, on internet now. There's hundreds of ways to gamble.
Yeah, you're a classic man.
I needed to
like
commit crime with
the
my friend.
personal touch of a bookie.
Yeah.
You need the
It was nice.
yeah.
But man, I got down on a UFC. I picked 9 losers in a UFC fight.
Ooh.
Uncharacteristic.
Brutal.
I know,
I would be bad if I tried to pick you. I was just telling my brother I stopped paying attention to UFC for just it seems like a little bit, and then I
there's
don't know anybody.
700 new Dagestani people that I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, and they're all damn good.
They're all great wrestlers. But I got down real bad. My buddy was like, "Hey man, you just got to hammer Korean baseball at 3 a.m." I was like, "Oh no, we're going down a bad path."
Hell yeah.
And there was like a European, like Czech, damn near B league or a beer league soccer teams. Like there was stuff you could try to like just hammer lines
Yeah.
and try to play catch up.
Yeah.
And I Googled a couple of the team names and it was like Facebook groups of not professional athletes. And I was like, there's a rec league in the Czech Republic that I'm gambling on. And
Yeah.
so I got out of the gambling ring.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Not
Yeah.
even like Keanu Reeves in Hardball was gambling on. I mean, I guess he wasn't operating in a pandemic either, though.
That's true,
So,
yeah.
to be fair, you're still not.
Also, shout out to YouTube user-JP80E4SM5S. And they go, you two, spelled TOOR, just the letter. You two are not funny or sad. Oh. So that's a compliment sandwich.
I don't know.
We're
I
not
don't
funny,
know.
but he's saying we're also not sad. So we have a brightness to the podcast that I think or it was another typo of some sort.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to take that. I don't know but is sadness what he's looking for though? He's like, y'all aren't funny, but you're also not.
Or is he
Into sad territory,
He's saying
and that's not what I like because I like to see humans suffering when I tune in. To
maybe he's not.
YouTube
that
video.
wasn't a typo of 2 and 2. He's saying you two are not funny or sad, and he's saying
fair.
as a not funny sad or as a not funny happy man, I see you.
All right, yeah, I'll take it. Shout out, sure.
Shout out,
Yeah.
shout out, user, all the stuff.
all
But
those things.
So today we are doing in honor of South Korean baseball gambling, spring
Yeah.
training, and the
New
baseball
baseball.
season kicking off. We are doing the famous story of the 10-cent beer night that the Cleveland Indians hosted in the summer of '74.
Cleveland, Ohio. Yeah, that's right. The same day they discovered that 18 minutes of White House audio tape had been manually deleted, which would lead to the to Richard Nixon resigning as president. A few months later, Hank Aaron had just broken the home run record, the all-time home run record, in April of this year. This is in June 4th, 1974. In Cleveland, Ohio. It was a Stroh's beer promotion.
When did Hank Aaron retire?
It was pretty. He played for like a long time.
You know,
I want to say like I want to say maybe he made it into the 80s.
You know, I have like a trouble placing some people like that, where you hear Hank Aaron, and I just like assume him to be like a Jackie Robinson contemporary.
Yeah, I have that with people. Usually, I know baseball well enough, but in other sports, I have that big time like
Picasso.
Oh yeah, Picasso.
He died in like 88.
Yeah, he was
not an
there are a lot
ancient
of
man.
pictures
I was
of
like,
it, yeah.
Michelangelo, Picasso.
Yeah.
No, he was.
No, that.
Yeah, he had a house phone.
Yeah, that's crazy to
Yeah.
think about. You know,
Okay,
he
back on
ordered
track.
pizza.
He ordered
could have
pizza.
ordered a pizza.
Yeah.
Picasso. Wouldn't that be weird to deliver? Especially because Picasso is always in the photos I see of him. He's always shirtless. He's always an old shirtless man. Ugh. I don't know. Picasso.
Now that Lawrence is gone,
look,
that
Picasso might be a great artist, but he no kind of beefcake.
Zero
if you know what I
beefcake.
mean.
Yeah.
He needs to hit the gym, or
that
before
was,
he was dead anyway.
With Lawrence unceremoniously leaving the podcast, our beefcake talk has gone down drastically.
Real big dip.
Just a big dip in beefcake
talk.
Goddamn shame. We missed the
It
episode.
is too bad, yeah. Little background, okay, getting back to the 10-cent beer night. Week before 10-cent beer night happened, this is setting the stage for violence and tension. A week before, the Indians had beat the Rangers 8-0 at a game in Arlington. And after the game, Lenny Randle, who had got a hit off the Indians starter Gaylord Perry, he had talked some shit in the press a bit, I guess, about Gaylord Perry. So Gaylord
was it
Perry,
that his name is Gaylord Perry? Was that what he was picking on him for?
Mm-hmm, exactly. He actually just said his name.
You're a real
He was
Gaylord
hey,
Perry.
Hey, buddy.
Listen here,
you can't
pal.
just go calling me by my first name, all right? Anyway, so Gaylord Perry, he's an old school fella, so he hears this, and he asks the next day's starter for the Indians, Milt Wilcox, who plays heavily into the story. He asks Milt Wilcox to drill Lenny Randle. So he goes out, he says okay. He goes out, he throws the first pitch behind Lenny Randle, doesn't hit him. Second pitch, he was aiming at his knee. He was trying to drill him in the knee. He missed again. So now Lenny Randle, he knows he's getting thrown at. So what Lenny Randle does, and what I contend is the coolest play in baseball history, Lenny Randle from the Rangers does a drag bunt up the first base line, and when Milt Wilcox comes over to field the bunt, he's right close enough to where Lenny Randle just truck sticks him. He just runs his ass over.
Insert the play here. Mm-hmm. Okay. Wow. Can you believe that?
Now that was some hot action from Lenny Randle and Milt Wilcox there. So that play, the coolest play in baseball history, sets off a brawl. There's a big brawl in Arlington.
Yep.
And that sets the stage. These are the two teams. Of course, both fan bases hated the other team after the brawl. And that sets up for a week later. They have Stroh's Beer has a 10-cent beer night. At Cleveland, old Cleveland Stadium. There was a limit. You could only get six
at a time.
But there was no limit on how many times
you could go.
You could go.
Which is a recipe for disaster. And at the time, Cleveland was, it gets hated on for being a shitty town, but Cleveland's a good place. I did a comedy festival up there one time, and it was fun. And it's, everything's got their bad areas and good areas.
Their balloon fests aren't that great.
Episode 2, check that out. But they, in like that time period, they had just shut down 600 factories. It was like industry leaving. So there's before everyone left. There's
Bruce Springsteen was just wandering the streets singing. Like he could hardly keep up.
Used to be.
He could hardly keep up with the warehouses closing. He was just going. He was tired, man.
And all those factories shutting down, like just quit caring about pollution. And so the Cuyahoga River kept catching on fire.
Yeah, that was not too long before our
always
story
a bad
here.
look. So it's not a good time in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, things are, it's a bleak time in Cleveland for sure. I read on the Cleveland.com article looking back on 10-cent beer night. It was funny to me. It said it was a scorching 83 degrees.
Yeah.
I was like, as a
It's
Texan,
adorable.
I'm like,
It's adorable.
Oh my God. I one time was like walking, I remember I was a kid. I was like walking through the living room and an episode of Oprah was on and they said something about, she was like, it was a scorching 87 degrees that day. And as a kid, I was like, what kind of weak shit
It's
is
in
that?
February.
And then I went and did whatever. And then I was walking back through and I realized that this story was about a baby being left in a car. I was like, oh, all right. All right.
Sorry.
All right. Okay. I get how that's kind of hot if you're a baby in a car.
If you're a baby.
I didn't know that was our parameters here before I mocked your
I'll be less
concept
Texan
of
for a
what's hot.
moment and show respect for the baby.
That's my bad. That's my bad, Oprah. I'll put
can't
my
win
hand
them
up
all.
on this one.
But so they, the Indians are not a good team this year.
They are, they're fourth in the AL East coming in.
Yeah.
Rangers are second in the AL West. This is back when there were just two divisions, I believe, in each league.
And so they were like not having good attendance at games, averaging 1,000 people, big empty stadium essentially, and 25,000 people show up for 10-cent beer night. The promotion
25,134 fans looking to get
The promotion is effective.
They are ready to get wild. They're getting loose.
Yeah.
Like a long neck goose, as a wise man once said. Remember Big Bopper? Who doesn't? Kids, everybody. Y'all remember Big Bopper?
Getting loose like a long neck goose. Hell yeah.
Yeah, so 25,000 fans. It's the players who played in the game, or they knew instantly it was going to be a very weird night. There's immediately streakers. Like there's immediately streakers after the first inning too.
This cracked me. It was the first incident of the game was a middle-aged lady came out onto the field, went to the on-deck circle, and flashed the crowd.
The Indians on deck circle.
And then tried to kiss the head umpire.
Nestor Chilak, the third base umpire and crew chief, who had won a Purple Heart and a Silver Star at the Battle of the Bulge.
What a...
Sorry, that meant no disrespect to Nestor Chilak, crew chief and veteran of Battle of the Bulge. That was just the old energy drink. But so Nestor Chilak, he was at Battle of the Bulge. And that's the other. I was thinking about this.
Speaking of Battle of the Bulge, after this old lady showing her titties.
Yeah, Nestor Chilak is here. The other thing that they instantly know it's going to be weird. People have firecrackers for some reason.
A lot of them.
There's a lot of firecrackers just being lit and thrown onto the field. So Nestor Chilak, his PTSD is kicking in. He's having a flashback. This old lady trying to kiss him doesn't look like an old lady. She looks like fucking Herman Goering. He's trying to stab her, with a little brush they use to dust off home plate.
Just getting after it.
Yeah, he's trying to kill her with that thing, but it's not his fault. He thinks she's Goering.
Yeah.
He's a very important member of the Nazi war machine. I don't blame this guy for trying to kill the woman that he thought was
Herman Goering.
I don't know if that sentence made sense.
This happened in the second inning of the baseball game. We are so early on for old ladies to be taking their tits out. Yeah. Everyone's just like, oh, this is going to be a doozy.
At anything other than a Van Halen show, we're very early on for an old lady to be getting her tits out. I once went to see Motley Crue in the not too distant past. They weren't in their prime, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I remember Tommy Lee at one point, he did a whole bit because he was like, I remember my sex tape. So he brings out like a camcorder like he had in the sex tape. It's like, my sex tape, guys, that's relevant. And then he breaks it out and then he asks the ladies to show their tits. And a lot of them did, all very old. And then Tommy Lee had the fucking gall to be like, who's your buddy, guys? Who's your buddy? And even at the time, I was probably like 16 when I saw this. I should have been very into any titty. Yeah. And even I was like, all right, Tommy,
let's take it down a notch, okay?
All right. These women are mothers.
That was his entire persona.
I'm sorry. Why did I say mothers?
You had to be a mother first.
Children have lots of children. That's true. Yeah. That is true. That's fair point.
He had that music video for Let's Get Naked. That was just, he was just like, I don't know, everyone pull your tits out. That'd be cool,
That was
right?
just the times we were living in. It's just
Trying to capitalize on, what do you do if you can drum and have a big dick? And she's like, well, we're going to lean into all this, I guess.
Masters of Mayhem.
I could sell insurance or do this.
You know, he had a giant tattoo that said the name of his
Mayhem,
new band,
yeah.
which in retrospect, good marketing, because I think that's the only reason I remember that band's name at all.
Yeah, not good.
But you know, Get Naked, that was probably pretty popular in strip clubs for a while at the very least.
Them and Buck Cherry.
We can say that. Yeah, then Buck Cherry's Crazy Bitch came out and just knocked it the fuck
We got
out
to
of
get
that
ready
spot.
of Mayhem. Sorry.
That's right.
But so the point of this is it's the second
It's
inning.
Mayhem.
It's Mayhem. We tied it together.
Yeah.
But so they're going, is this going to
sober
be...
fans are leaving.
Yes.
Sober fans and families are taking off, leaving nothing but drunken maniacs.
And the stadium tried to go, hey guys, we're doing 10-cent beer night. Make sure we got a long game. Baseball's long. Let's do it. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Mm-hmm. And then Cleveland, in a resounding show of unity, went, I think we're going to sprint the marathon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to their credit, at one point, they said that you were able to, like the demand was such that they started just letting people fill their cups at the Stroh's truck in the outfield.
Yeah, that was a fun. So Stroh's was the beer company that ran it, and they had 10-cent beer night, 6 cups, and they only manned it with 2 teenage girls, were like the beer girls running the stand.
Jesus.
And so pretty quickly they just went, fuck this.
Yep.
And they abandoned it. And so people just went to the truck and would fill up their own stuff. And that, so 10-cent beer night pretty quickly turned into just free beer night.
Yeah.
No rules.
Free beer night. It's mayhem. Rangers first baseman Mike Hargrove was pelted with hot dogs, spat on, and almost got clocked with a flying bottle of Thunderbird, which was, if you don't know about Thunderbird, it was an old cheap wine. Yeah. And I only know about it because Townes Van Zandt has a song called Talkin' Thunderbird Blues.
That's how you know a stadium's trying to get fucked up. Is that
look, if Townes Van Zandt thought your alcohol was gross, your alcohol was
pretty gross. But that's how fucked up everyone wants to get. It is almost free beer, and some guy went, I'm trying to save a buck. Let me sneak in some Thunderbird.
I want something with some bite, you know? I'm not trying to. And to be fair to this guy, it was low ABV beer, so I get kind of where he's coming from as a farmer drinking man who just snuck a few beers in the ballpark in Arlington myself.
I don't want to drink 14
Back in
beers.
the day, you could go through the center field entrance at the ballpark in Arlington, and we would be wearing cargo shorts, as was the style at the time, and you could put 6 Keystone Lights in your pants. So you could get, me and 2 friends, we would have a full 18-pack between us at the old Rangers game.
God bless them.
You could just go to the bathroom and pound one really fast.
We do that at Stars
baseball
games. We always sneak in like a bladder of whiskey.
Yeah.
And then you just go get a soda.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
That's how you end up fighting Rangers first baseman Mike Hargrove. He's...
The next event was in the 4th inning. They had the next streaker, which was a fully naked man who ran onto the field, and he slid into second base.
Yeah, insane.
And my favorite thing about this is he was never caught. So they only had 50 security guards, which was the regular staffing for just a Cleveland Indians game. They didn't up it or anything. They didn't get extra people in.
Fair.
And so this guy just fully naked ran in, slid into second, ran off. They kind of chased him, and he just got back in the stands, and they were like, ah.
Yeah, that's what the players were saying, is like it was very easy for all the streakers to escape. Like most of them just went left field to right field and jumped into the bleachers and were gone. There was no... Yeah.
Again, a city united for 10-cent beer night. It was a beautiful cause, and I respect the hell out of them for how they handled it.
At one point, the Rangers starter Hall of Famer Fergie Jenkins gets hit with a comebacker in the stomach, and they cheer really loud and start chanting, like, hit him again, harder, harder. Which I thought was fucked up, as a Fergie Jenkins fan. Why you got to come at Fergie Jenkins like that?
To all the Fergie Jenkins fans out there, not above board. You know?
Fergie had a bad game. He pitched well, pretty good it seemed, but he, in addition to the getting blasted in the stomach with a comebacker, he also got spiked, which actually that is leading into the brawl. So I'll put a pin in that one. At one point, a father-son duo ran on the field and mooned the crowd. Did you get to that one?
They mooned the outfield, and then they were Three Stooges style chased around the diamond because none of the security guards could catch them. And then they also escape. Good on them. Good father-son bonding. I bet they're still talking about that.
That's right.
But then because of that,
That's My Boy. Remember that song?
The manager of the Rangers, Billy Martin, Billy Martin. He goes out and talks to his pitcher and is like, this is crazy. We got to, try to stay focused on the game. And then as he's walking off, he blows kisses to the Cleveland Indians fans.
Yeah, Billy Martin is a character, man. We could do a whole episode on him. He was Mickey Mantle's best drinking buddy on the Yankees back in the day. He was Yankees manager, he a very surly man. He loved drinking and he loved fighting. He was a goddamn character. And yeah, he's the Rangers manager at the time. And frankly, you couldn't have a better manager for this. Maybe he wasn't the best baseball manager of all time, but for a 10-cent beer night, you have to fight your way out of a mob with bats. Billy Martin's pretty much one of the best, So with the Fergie Jenkins, he gets spiked, and the Rangers are, fucking mad about that. Mm-hmm. They're not super into Fergie Jenkins getting spiked, and so they're pissed.
What does spiked mean?
Slid
into him. I got you.
Him. So he got, and the Rangers are mad. So the fans are throwing even more shit onto the field than they were throwing before. And at one point, some people throw some firecrackers into the Rangers bullpen. That was an incident.
And this was after he blew the kisses to the crowd. They threw so many firecrackers into their dugout that they had to pause the game and evacuate the dugout.
And yet the game is still going on.
Yeah,
it's 5-3 Rangers going into the ninth.
There is a Major League Baseball production occurring during all this.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, I think in the sixth inning, security stops chasing streakers. They're just like, this will go smoother if you just let them run across and jump.
They'll figure themselves out. It'll be fine.
But then people stole the bases.
Yeah.
And they never found them again.
So it goes into the ninth. The Indians actually had tied the game at 5-5 before everything went to shit. What happened was after the Indians had tied it at 5-5, one of the numerous field runners, I don't think this guy was naked, he could have been, but one of the guys that ran on the field tried to snatch the Rangers right fielder Jeff Burrows' hat. He tried to grab his hat, so Jeff Burrows lunged at him to try to tackle him and get his hat back, and in doing so he fell down. And so from the Rangers dugout, they thought he was being attacked. And so Billy Martin is immediately
my favorite moment of this whole thing is out of the scene from 300, where these 300 men are standing at the gates, knowing they're about to meet their demise, and they go, "No, tonight we dine in hell."
Yeah.
And Billy Martin sees this. He looks around.
Billy Martin's like, "Oh, I'm just drunk enough for this."
He looks around at 25,000 rowdy fans, and he sees a player getting accosted. And he grabs a baseball bat and he charges.
He leads the dudes out with helmets and baseball bats. It's straight up the Alamo. There are 25 Rangers, and they're surrounded by 200 fans on the field. At some point, the Indians see this, and interestingly enough, Gaylord Perry, who in many ways set this off by having Lenny Randle drilled that week ago.
Yeah.
He's the one I read who said, guys, let's go help them. And so the Indians run out with helmets and bats to fight their own fans in defense of the Rangers, who only moments ago they were on the verge of fighting, but they're, as you know, in the baseball fraternity, they team up and
like the finale of the movie The Warriors.
It's really crazy,
meets and they got to fight their way out.
Yeah, it's really there are some heartwarming tales going on in the madness. You know, our old friend Milt Wilcox. he is friends with a local Italian restaurant owner who was at the game. The restaurant owner happened to be there with a bunch of burly steel worker friends.
Good.
They're beefcakes for you.
Yeah.
And they literally surrounded Milt Wilcox. And they were like, don't let anybody hurt Milt.
Yeah.
So he had
Not
his own, and he used the word himself. He had his own private posse of Italian steelworker beefcakes.
God bless him.
Surrounding him to make sure no one hurt him. Our old friend Hargrove, remember Hargrove? Hargrove had to fight 2 fans. He apparently subdued 1 fan, which I think
with a bat
meant fucking flawless victory kind of thing. I wish there was video of that because I feel like it was good if the word being used is subdued.
Yeah.
And then
I'll try to splice in some video, but I can't. There was a full-blown melee where people are getting hit with bats, chairs are getting thrown, people are like cracking bottles on people. They fought their way out of the stadium.
Yeah, they literally had to fight their way out. They fled to the clubhouse, basically they went in groups pretty much where they were covering each other's escape like a fucking military retreat, you know? And they eventually get to the clubhouses and then the Indians escort the Rangers to their bus. Which is sweet, you know?
Yeah.
I thought that was nice of them. Yeah. That was cool. And then, so they get on the bus, but there's still insanity going on in the field.
They have to bring SWAT teams out to tear gas everyone to disperse it.
Yeah, before it's all over,
my favorite note of the whole thing is throughout the entirety of the insanity, melee, people getting cracked with bats, people getting close to death, beer flowing. The organ player never stopped playing Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
That's beautiful. I did not read that. That's amazing.
That's fantastic.
That makes those guys on the Titanic look like a fucking pile of shit. Ooh, our boat is sinking, you know?
Yeah.
It's not 10-cent beer night. That's crazier.
Sinking, and our organ player doesn't stop.
That's crazier if you ask me. That was 1912. Ships sink all the time. How many times are there 10-cent beer nights? Not that often. We only know of the one, you know? Write in, though, if you know of others. We'd love to cover them.
60,000 beers drunk, 19 streakers, 7 ER visits, and this was 1974 where people didn't go to the ER unless they are actually hurt.
Yep.
So 7 people seriously injured and only 9 arrests made.
Yeah, only 9 arrests, which is hilarious. Indians pitcher Tom Hilgendorf was hit in the head with a chair. Duke Sims, who was, I believe he was a Ranger at the time of the brawl, but he had been on the Indians too. He had to literally one-on-one fight a fan. Our old friend Chilak, remember him, the umpire?
Oh yeah,
he was clocked in the head and cut by a stadium seat. Someone ripped a seat out of its cement moorings
and hit a Silver Star recipient
and hit a Purple Heart recipient in the head with it.
Wow,
which is just we're just doing good things, Cleveland. Keep it up. Way
to go, Cleveland.
He also got a cut on the hand. Someone chucked something at him, which, that's not nice. You know, don't throw things at cool Purple Heart recipients who are trying to fight Herman Goering.
Things happen
in their minds. But the Rangers escaped. The brawl ultimately had no impact on the baseball season at all. The Rangers finished in 2nd in the AL West where they were. Indians finished in 4th in the AL East where they were.
Oh, and the Indians had to forfeit the game.
Indians forfeited,
so they lost.
Went down as a 9-0 Rangers win. Interestingly enough, there was this one guy for the Indians who would go on. He would also play in the game, the Disco Demolition Night.
Oh, he played in both. Hell yeah.
That was he's very much like the guy who was at Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but of baseball, you know? Those are like the 2 great 70s baseball.
Yeah. What are the odds?
Yeah. He was there.
Fantastic.
Actually, I think a couple guys were at both because I read about another one, like an infielder. But Dick Boswell was the guy I was reading about, and he said that this was he said in D.C. I think it was D.C. Disco Demolition Night. No, that was maybe Chicago. In any case, he said it was very different. He said like one was like a party, like it was like people, or no. Who was at the last forfeited game? That's what it was, which interestingly was the Senators in the last game before they became the Rangers. That's why I was in Washington.
There we go.
And so fans started running on the field, but in that case, Dick Boswell pointed out they were just like they were just taking souvenirs from the stadium because it was the last game and there wasn't anything. He was like, these guys were dicks. This is a different thing.
Yeah.
These guys were violent. I didn't care for them. You can quote me on that.
And God bless them all, but that is the story of 10-cent beer night with the Cleveland Indians versus the Texas Rangers.
Oh, yeah. One more detail I really appreciated was that Chilak afterwards said that he called the fans uncontrollable beasts and said that he had never seen such behavior except in a zoo. And I would just like to say, when have you ever seen anything half as entertaining as what we're talking about here in a zoo?
Also, a guy that was at the Battle of the Bulge was just like, these people y'all are acting crazy.
This way out of pocket.
This is wild.
Right?
Okay.
This is wild. Throwing chairs. Who throws a chair? Yeah. I was in the Battle of the Bulge, but nobody threw a chair.
Nobody threw chairs at each other.
All right.
How uncouth.
And I don't mean that as any shot at the zoo animals. I want to make that clear. All right. I was at the zoo just the other week, and frankly, they did a great job. The hippos in particular. You know what the hippos did? They were playing in the sand when we first got over there. Then one of them stood up and took a shit and did that thing where they wag their tails so the shit goes everywhere. Very funny. Enjoyable to see. Just what you want to see when you walk over to the hippo exhibit. And then they got in the water, did a little display of hippo swimming. 10 of 10. They were on their shit that day, you know?
The last time I went to a zoo was years ago, and we took way too many mushrooms at the San Diego Zoo.
That sounds amazing.
And it was one of the most surreal experiences. Like, I wish there are those moments where we were confused and lost and like not in touch with reality. And it was like an insane journey. But I would always like the video of those situations where from the outside looking in, they're just like, there's these two dudes just kind of slowly walking around a zoo. And we're on this cosmic adventure, but just in space, we're just like two scared looking guys staring at pandas, just like, geez. So, you got anything going on recently? Anything you want to talk about?
Just comedy, man. I was at, I don't know why I said it like that. Just comedy, man. Just doing stand-up.
Just in those trenches, like
just on the road,
Chilak.
man. Just like Chilak, you know. Just
yeah,
trying
were
to be
you in
like
Rose City?
Chilak. Yeah, I headlined Rose City on last Saturday.
Check out Scott's Instagram if you want to see him look like a cult leader.
That's right.
Why that was a decision, the stare off in the distance.
I don't know. I just posted the pictures they sent to me. I don't have any artistic input in it. But it was a good time. Shout out Tyler, Texas, Rose City Comedy. They do a great job out there.
They do. That's such a fun one. I did the understudy, and I am safe to say Rose City is way better.
Hell yeah. I've never done the understudy, so
it's
I'm
like
confident
it's just
that.
a more sterile environment.
Yeah.
Where like
all right.
Rose City has like people that go to it, which is good.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's just
a good thing about a comedy club.
And it's DIY, and it's got a warmth to it that I really enjoy, and it's just like a cool place.
Hell yeah.
The shows are good, and everything's fun at Rose City.
Yeah, I did that Saturday. Since then, I've just been watching the Mavericks and being sad about them.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, I had a little brainstorm sesh the other night by myself. What if we just all swore that we saw Jason Kidd committing a murder?
Everyone get together.
The courts would have to take us seriously.
Yeah. Where's the body?
I think
like we all saw him do it.
None of us just don't get too detailed in our lie. All right.
Or we just sacrifice a hobo as a city and frame Jason Kidd.
I don't think we should talk about this on the podcast, but I'm not saying it's a bad idea. Quite the opposite, in fact. The fact that I want to talk about it on the podcast indicates what I won't say it's a good idea on the podcast.
We're going to change the subject now immediately.
We do need to write some stuff down real quick in our business idea journal.
Keep an eye for Jason Kidd murdering a homeless man soon.
Yep, it's happening. I've seen him.
You know what I saw?
Seen him do it.
I saw Dune 2 last Friday right when it came out.
All right. Hell yeah. I've heard good things. That's awesome.
Yeah, Dune 2 was awesome. The only thing I'm bummed out about is that they already don't have production on the third one. So it's going to be like 2028 or like 2030 when they do the third one.
Yeah.
Which I think they finished the main book, but there's more to the story of Paul Atreides, because it clearly ends with like a cliffhanger where it's like, oh fuck yeah, we're going to war. But it's got to go to like a different book, I believe, for part of that story. And it branches off, and so his little story clearly has one more movie, which would be kind of the obvious end for the movie trilogy.
And you're like, fucking make it already.
Yeah, and we need a good trilogy. Star Wars sucks now. It's confusing, and there's too much of it.
I don't know any Star Wars.
Yeah, there's you got to tone it down, everybody.
Yeah.
Stop giving me homework to watch something.
Yeah, it's too much, you know?
But
I got shit to do. I mean, that's a lie, but
I got old King of the Hill episodes to watch.
I have other things to watch.
Yeah.
I don't have shit to do, but I have other stuff I want to watch.
What do we my wife's birthday was yesterday as of the recording of this, but
Happy birthday.
Yeah, there you go, Taylor. But every year this is the second annual crawfish boil we throw for her birthday.
Hell yeah.
And it was awesome. Did you know crawfish is in a 26-year down year?
I did not
So
know
it was
that.
twice as expensive as it was last year.
Wouldn't it be weird if I was like, of course?
Yeah, who doesn't know that?
You think I don't get crawfish quarterly?
Yeah, apparently they had a cold winter in South Louisiana, and crawfish are super expensive this year.
Well, son of a bitch.
But it was awesome. Next year, I will be a skilled crawfish boiler.
All right.
We've learned some lessons,
Hell yeah.
and we learned some new lessons this year.
Good.
Mostly that a watch pot doesn't boil, and 12 gallons of water takes a long time to boil.
Yeah, I could see that.
So that was the big one, but had a blast. Excited for it next year.
Suck them heads.
Suck them heads.
That's what you do, right?
Yes, what you do.
I haven't eaten crawfish in a long time.
They're so good.
Have you ever had a crawfish quesadilla from No Frills Grill in
I have
Arlington?
not. That sounds good.
Fire.
A little crawfish Atalfi,
Yeah,
as
it's
the
real
Cajuns
good.
say.
This is real good.
I got to try that. All right, you got any shows coming up or anything?
I don't think I have anything. Nah, not. Nah.
Let's see. I got a spring break trip.
Addison Improv, March 17th.
March 17th. There you go. Who are you?
Devin Clark and friends.
Fuck yeah.
Come see it. Going to be a good show.
Yeah, I'll just be at Backdoor Comedy Club on the weekends, going on a spring break trip with the fam.
When's
Taylor's,
that?
my wife's family, in like 2 weeks.
Hell yeah.
And then
That'd be fun.
doing big rig rescue training down in Round Rock.
Oh.
So the city's sending 6 dudes. So there's 2 USAR stations and 3 shifts per station. So each shift is like elected a guy, and it's pretty much like vehicle extricate, like where you cut open cars, but it's like lifting and moving, and it's all semi trucks and dump like heavy vehicles, and
Hell yeah.
so that's like a
sounds fun.
4-day thing, and it'll be a fun training. So I'm excited for that.
Good times.
But yeah, so stuff y'all can't come buy a ticket for, but yeah,
You should try to sell tickets to it. That would be fun.
come watch.
Watch me
An
cut
unknown comedian and podcaster
cut some trucks
cut some
open.
trucks up, baby. We're tying stuff back. We're lifting stuff up, okay? But yeah, again, shout out Jogging Scissors 632.
Right. Shout out Jogging Scissors. We love you.
South Korea represent. All right. Well, thank you guys, and we'll see y'all next episode.
Take care.